Today marks 3 years since we came to our first Sunday service. And I remember when I came in here, oh my goodness, I was a mess. I was a mess. And I didn't really know what to expect out of deliverance, but I knew I was in need. I remember being broken and hurting, and I didn't ever think I'd be able to love or form relationships again. That's not the case. Now I'm knit into this amazing body, and I'm able to love and to laugh and to smile. I had so much going on in my body. I was on so many medications, and I knew that that's not how I wanted to live my life. I'm not on any of it anymore. I can go outside, and I'm not hurting, I'm well. My mind was tormented, and I tried so hard to self-medicate. I tried to take my life multiple times, but the Lord never allowed. I was diagnosed with depression, anxiety, and they wanted to find out if I had ADHD or if I was on the spectrum, and I don't need any of that. I've prayed through symptoms that were a problem, and I'm who the Lord wants me to be. All I can say is deliverance is real and healing is real. And honestly, it's weird to try to tell everything, because how can you, right? So that's reserved for another time. But this morning, I looked back over my original deliverance forms, and I just began to weep for hours, because it was I can't even describe the feeling of reading through my answers, what's wrong, what's going on, and to look at the things that I checked and to see all these problems that were going on, the different torments and the different hurts and the pains and the things I was struggling with, and to know that none of those things are a problem. Like, that's not my reality at all anymore. It's amazing to look back. I can't even explain how amazing. And so I've grown up so much in this place. I've grown in prayer, and I've developed such a love for the word as well as worship. And the Lord has used me in ways that I never knew possible, and I'm humbled when I think about how far I've come. In all this, the most important thing that I have is my actual relationship with the Lord. I know him for myself, and that's something I always wanted to say and mean, and now it's true. I love him, I love Jesus, and I don't have any shame to call him Abba. And people my age, they're searching, and they want to find what's true, they want to find what works. And from the very beginning, I wasn't asking for a miracle. I said, Lord, if you're real, I want to know you for myself. I need to know, because the Jesus they're telling me about hasn't healed my body. The Jesus they're telling me about hasn't healed my mind. It was a different Jesus, if I'm being honest. But to come into this place and to have his name attached to healing, to have his name attached to deliverance, to have his name attached to freedom, to have his name attached to redemption, his blood attached to all of it, that's Jesus. And so in my wandering, I was brought to this home and this family, and they've walked beside me in amazing ways. And through the prayer and through so much love and patience, I was able to grow and to become, because it didn't happen overnight. And even in this journal, I was reading some of the entries that I first wrote, and I was proud to see that even after a long day, after hurting, after telling the Lord what was going on, I never ended it without a prayer. I never ended it without saying, Lord, help me. I know this isn't the end. And to see where I am now, I'm encouraged, even though that back then, when I had very little understanding, very little grasp of what it looked like to walk out the faith, that something in me knew I'm not going anywhere. And now I'm here. And so I feel lucky for Call to Holiness and the privilege to be raised twice. Through my mom and my grandma. I was crying for truth, but I hadn't found it just yet for myself. And in that search, I was able to meet Sir and Tehila. And through that, I've grown so much. I've grown so much through you guys. Thank you so much for your prayers. And I can't even begin to explain the love and the respect that I have for you. You guys have not poured out in vain. I want you to know that I value every day that I'm here. I thank the Lord for what he's doing through you, that I even have a wellspring in this place. And I understand that not everyone is meant to stay here. Some people are meant to pass through, and others are meant to receive more, but they don't want to work for it. I stayed, and I'm standing on my own 2 feet now. I get to work beside my family, and it's not always easy to stay standing, but I'm not standing alone. I have the support of my Father, and he's positioned his children around me, that we move together as needed. We're here to wage war and to fight a good fight. I didn't get up just to sit and look pretty. I have a vendetta, and one thing I always come back to after a hard day is a smile. I choose to fight with one, knowing that some other person is going to wander in here from a dark path, and that this victory and this testimony and that what I carry is going to help somebody else walk through what they're going through. And that as we take our position on the wall, we have permission to build and stand and build and stand until we create our piece of the puzzle that the Lord has placed in our hands. And I feel lucky to even have a part to play.